साईश्वरं सुन्दररूपं कनकाम्बरधरं करुणामूर्तिं सर्वजनप्रिय प्रेमस्वरूपं पुटपर्तीश्वर सत्यनारायणम् साईश्वरं सुन्दररूपं कनकाम्बरधरं करुणामूर्तिं सर्वजनप्रिय प्रेमस्वरूपं पुटपर्तीश्वर सत्यनारायणम् जय जय राम।
राम रघुवर राम सीता राम राम राम। राम रघुवर राम सीता राम राम राम। श्री राम 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 साई राम राम श्री राम 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 साई राम 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 रघुवर राम सीता राम राम राम। हे पतित पावना राम, हे श्यामल कोमल राम। पतित पावना राम, हे श्यामल कोमल राम। हे पतित पावना राम, हे श्यामल कोमल राम। पतित पावना राम, हे श्यामल कोमल राम। हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम। हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम। हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम। हे वैदेही प्रिय राम साई राम राम जय राम। श्री राम 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 साई राम राम राम। श्री राम 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 साई राम राम राम। श्री राम 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 श्री राम श्री रघुरामा श्री रघुरामा श्री राम श्री रघुरामा राम श्री रघुरामा श्री राम सीता रामा सीता राम श्री राम सीता राम
Om Shri Sai Ram, invoking Bhagwan's blessings and presence and offering my most loving pranams at the lotus feet of our dearest Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, welcome everyone to today's session of the Rāmāyana Sapthāha. Listening to the stories of the avatar is indeed a boon. And listening to the stories of the avatar in a place where the avatar of the age has actually walked is much greater a boon. Because the same Lord Ram, who was born in the Treta Yuga, has been with us as Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, and he is the one who has actually told us the stories, the lessons and the teachings of the Rāmāyana itself. Now it's such a great good fortune for all of us that from Ram Navami Day, all of us have been contemplating on all of these teachings and stories. Yesterday, we had listened to Sri Sundar Anantaraman, and we had contemplated on the topics of Grihastha Dharma, Stri Dharma from the conversations of Lord Rama and Mother Sita. We also contemplated on Ravana's Bhakti to Shiva and what led Ravana not to be able to control his senses. And today, in today's satsang, we would be contemplating on the topic of Lakshmana's Bhakti and Prapathi to Lord Shri Ram. And to talk to all of us today, we have Shri Sai Giridhar. Welcome, sir. I'm delighted to introduce today's speaker because Shri Sai Giridhar has been my own teacher. He has taught me when I was a student in the university. Shri Sai Giridhar hails from Chennai. He was very fortunate, he has been very fortunate and joined Shri Sathya Sai Higher Secondary School in the year 1999 for his 11th standard. And then he went on to do his bachelor's and then master's degree in chemistry in 2006. And then in 2008, he completed master's. And based on Bhagwan's instructions, he joined the PhD program. He joined the MPhil and then he joined the PhD program. In the year 2017, Shri Sai Giridhar completed his PhD on the topic Clinical Biochemistry, Early Detection of Heart Diseases in Asian Indians, Study of Biomakers. Apart from his academics, Shri Sai Giridhar has been a fantastic cricketer. He's amazing at basketball, and he has got many opportunities to perform dramas in front of Bhagwan himself. He has been a part of the whole drama production, has worked on every part of the drama, on many convocation dramas, independence dramas, many more. He has over a decade of experience as a lecturer in Sri Sapthāha Institute of Higher Learning for awareness classes on various topics related to Indian scriptures, culture, based on Swami's life, work and teachings of Bhagwan to both undergraduate and postgraduate students. Currently, he is serving as a resident fellow in Sri Sathya Sai Center of Human Values, Prashantinilayam, a unit of Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust. Shri Sai Giridhar has got wonderful moments with Bhagwan. He has been in the party of party of the students whom Swami has taken to Kodaikanal in the year 2007. He has got many opportunities in Bhagwan's physical presence to speak, and he has also given talks during the Dasara time in Vidwan Mahasabha. And today we are very fortunate to have Sir with us to be talking to us on the topic. Shri Sai Giridhar. Sai Ram.
सर्वरूपधरं शान्तं सर्वनामधरं शिवं सच्चिदानन्द अद्वैतं सच्चिदानन्द अद्वैतं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम्. Offering our most reverential and humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagavan, Shri Sathya Sai Rāma. Through this invocation, which was spontaneously composed by Bhagavan himself, Bhagavan declared that all the forms that are here and in the entire creation are assumed by him. Every form goes with a name, and therefore all the names are his, and all names are therefore auspicious. While he pervades the multiplicity of the entire creation, all of this, yet he is not many. He is only one without a second. Satchitananda Advaitam. And out of his immense compassion, that unmanifest Supreme Being has come in our midst time and again as Sri Rama, as Sri Krishna, as Shirdi Sai, and now as Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai. And while he assumes an avataric form, out of his immense compassion, his very form is of the nature of Satyam, truth, Shivam, auspiciousness, and Sundaram, beauty. And therefore, not only do I bow down to Atma Rama, but I bow down to that Atma Rama who is now present here in the form of this ocean of consciousness, Atma Rama in the form of each and every one of you. When we think of bowing down completely to the Lord, there cannot be a greater example than that of his own wonderful brother, Sri Lakshmana. Today's topic is Lakshmana's Prapathi. Prapathi simply means surrender. Unconditional surrender to Swami. Let us begin with this question, which may seem very trivial, but I am sure as we explore the answer to this question in this satsang, Bhagavan will, through his immense grace, unravel to us the enormous depth in the devotion in the name of this devotee, Lakshmana. The question is, who is Lakshmana? Can we have some responses? Who is Lakshmana? Who is Lakshmana? Sri Rama. Yes. He is the incarnation of Adishesha himself. Sri Rama is the incarnation of Lord Narayana, and he is Adishesha himself. Wonderful. What else? He is the embodiment of the Vedas, as are the four brothers. Wonderful, wonderful. so on, right? These are all known to us. One day, this happened in Kodaikanal. We were all sitting with Bhagwan in 2007, and in that session, suddenly Swami asked us a question. Usually, when we are around Swami, we would pray to Swami to speak to us on a subject, or pray to Swami to just speak to us. Anything that he speaks is so filled with love. So we say, Swami, just speak to us, please. But on that day, instead of us praying to Swami with a question of ours, Swami in turn asked us a question. Swami asked, who are the 5 nearest and dearest to Sri Rama? So as you can expect, we had given multiple answers, right from Hanuman to Lakshmana to Vibhishana to Sugriva to so on. Everybody's names were spelt out. Swami was not satisfied. Swami said, I want the exact 5. So we were wondering who the exact 5 are, so we just kept quiet. That is the best thing to do in the presence of Avatar. When Bhagavan speaks, we must keep quiet and listen. And that is what Lakshmana did all through his life. And Bhagavan then said, the 5 nearest and dearest to Sri Rama are Kausalya Supraja Rama, Mother Kausalya, Vaidehi Priya Rama, that is, Vaidehi means Mother Sita, Ahalyodharaka Rama, Mother Ahalya, Hanumat Sevita Rama, Lord Hanuman, Bharatagraja Sri Rama, Bharata, who is the brother of Sri Rama. Bhagavan said these 5 are the nearest and dearest to Sri Rama. Now, while we look at all these 5 in the coming days of the Rāmāyana Sapthāham, the obvious question here is, why was Lakshmana left out of the list? Lakshmana, who never leaves the side of Rama. You see any portrait of Sri Rama? Others may be missing, but Lakshmana cannot be missing. That is how Lakshmana is. And how come he didn't make it to the list? And this was a question that was asked by Professor Anil Kumar Garu, Swami's translator. He said, Swami, how come Lakshmana is not there in this list? And then Swami said, Chudu, Lakshmana is like Rama's shadow. He is not separate from Rama. It is only when there is some separation can you talk about nearness and dearness, isn't it? Only if there is some distance you can talk about nearness and dearness. But when Lakshmana is inseparable from Rama, how can you talk about nearness and dearness? And therefore Swami said, Anduke list lo ledu. So that is why he didn't make it to the list of top 5 nearest and dearest to Sri Rama. Bhagavan also reveals a grand secret about this inseparable nature of Lakshmana. It so happened, this is the divine writing, Ramakatha Rasavahini. Those of you who haven't read it, you must read. There cannot be a greater, more nectarine scripture in this universe than Ramakatha Rasavahini. In its very name it says Ramakatha Rasa. That Rasa is Amrita Rasa. And in that Bhagavan writes the secret of Lakshmana. He revealed the secret of Lakshmana. What is the secret of Lakshmana? The 4 brothers were born to Dasharatha, that is, the 4 children, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna. And they were in their respective mothers' chambers. Sri Rama was in Mother Kausalya's chamber. Bharata was in Mother Kaikeyi's chamber. Lakshmana and Shatrughna were in Mother Sumitra's chamber. So, few days passed and the mother Sumitra observed that Lakshmana is not sleeping well. So is Shatrughna. Lakshmana and Shatrughna is not sleeping well. They are not eating food properly. And they are so restless all the time. Little babies, but they are behaving like this. And in Swami's own words, he says, they tried every possible yantra, mantra and tantra, but of no avail. Nothing could help these little toddlers who were so restless, they were not eating food, they were diminishing in their size, both Lakshmana and Shatrughna. So Dasharatha had only one option. He went to his guru, the great sage Brahma Rishi Vasishtava. Swami would always refer to him as Vasishthavarlu, because that Rama has come again as Satya Sai Rama, and he still honors his guru. So whenever he speaks, Swami will say Vasishthavarlu with respect, because it is his guru. And Dasharatha had approached Vasishthavarlu and presented his prayer to him, saying, "This is the predicament, please help us." And the great Brahma Rishi Vasishthavarlu came, and with his divine vision, he noticed what was happening there, what divine drama was happening there. Then he called the three mothers, and specifically he called Mother Sumitra and said, "See, you take Lakshmana and place him in the same cradle as Rama. You take Shatrughna and place him in the same cradle as Bharata. That will solve your problem." They were quite puzzled as to what solution is this. When no medicine was of help, what is this solution? But then this was coming from Brahmarishi Vasishthavarlu himself, so they had to do it. And immediately Mother Sumitra took Lakshmana from her chamber to Mother Kausalya's chamber and placed the little baby next to Rama. Similarly, Shatrughna was placed next to Bharata. And lo and behold, Lakshmana was in ecstasy. The moment he was next to Rama, he was in ecstasy. He started sleeping soundly, he started eating food well, he started growing healthy. All these wonderful signs were seen in Lakshmana moment he was placed next to Rama. Now, what is the secret here? We all know how these four divine brothers' children were born. They were born from the payasam that emerged from the yajna performed by Dasharatha with the help of the great sage Rishyashringa. Now, whenever we take the names of all these extraordinary devotees, great sages, in your mind and heart, just offer a pranams to them. And here was this great sage Rishyashringa, who performed the yajna, Putrakameshti yajna, and the yajna Purusha came with the prasadam, which is the payasam, and offered it to Dasharatha and asked him to divide it equally amongst the queen. Then when that was done in golden vessels, they were all the three queens were asked to shower, do their prayers, and then come and receive. And when they received the prasadam, Mother Sumitra, with her bowl, she was sitting next to a window, and she placed the bowl there, and she was drying her hair in sambrani after her shower, and wondering, now Kausalya's son Rama will be the emperor. Kaikeyi's son Bharata can also be the emperor because she has asked for that boon. In fact, one of the conditions of Kaikeyi Raja was that I will give my daughter Kaikeyi in marriage to you, O Dasharatha, if you promise that her son will be made into the next emperor. Now, there is a beautiful insight here which we will see tomorrow. Now, what happens here is, Mother Sumitra is wondering, maybe as a result of that promise, Bharata also can be the emperor. But what will happen to my son? What will happen to my child? She was wondering like this, and without her notice, an eagle came and picked up that bowl of payasam, which is her share, and flew away. Bhagavan much later revealed that actually that payasam was dropped on the lap of Anjana Devi, and that the result of that payasam was none other than Lord Hanuman himself. And here, however, Mother Sumitra was in great turmoil. What to do? Now the payasam is missing. The king is going to ask her to come and partake the payasam. And when that was happening, the other two queens were so supportive of Mother Sumitra. Mother Kausalya and Mother Kaikeyi came. They got another replica of a cup, and they poured half portion from each of them into this. And therefore, half of Mother Kausalya's portion went into the cup, half of Mother Kaikeyi's portion went into the cup. The result was Mother Sumitra had twins, and one half was actually a portion that was Rama himself. The other half was the portion that was Bharata himself. And therefore Lakshmana, who was the portion of Rama, is inseparable from Rama. And Shatrughna, who was the portion of Bharata, is inseparable from Bharata. This is the secret of Lakshmana. And therefore he is like Rama's shadow, he is inseparable. So is Shatrughna to Bharata. Rāmāyana is not an epic that happened 20,000 years ago. Now 20,000 is a number that Bhagavan himself revealed in an interview to devotees. Swami said, Rāmāyana happened 20,000 years ago. Now, is it a story or a historic account of a great prince who lived 20,000 years ago? Swami says no. This is not just an historic account, but it is actually a living account of our own stories, yours and mine. This is a living account of our stories. And in Rāmakatharasavayini, Swami actually gives the very essence, the inner meaning of Ramayana. He says, Sri Rama in Ramayana represents the Antaryami, Atma Ramudu, our very core, the one who we really are. Swami says we are not one but three. The one we think we are, that is the body. The one which others think we are, that is the mind. And the one which we really are, that is Atma Rama. So Swami says that in Ramayana, when you read Ramayana, understand that that Rama in the story is actually your own true self, Atma Rama. He is Anandadhamudu, he says. He is the very source, the font of bliss and happiness that we are seeking constantly in every endeavor of us. Let me ask you all this question, my dear brothers and sisters. How many of you want to work hard here to be miserable? Anybody here? Please raise your hand. How many of you want to have endless happiness? Raise your hand. Imagine Swami is going to bless you now and raise your hand. How many of you want endless, ceaseless happiness and joy and bliss? Yes. Those who are uncertain still, please make up your mind. So, you look at this, everybody seeks happiness. Nobody is working for being miserable or unhappy, you see. But that font of happiness, that source of happiness is not in this drama, it is in Rama. That is why he is Anandadhamudu, Bhagavan describes in Rāmakatharasavayini. The four brothers were the embodiments of the four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Dasharatha, the father, who is said to control 10 chariots, he had the power to control 10 chariots at a time. He represents this physical body with the Dashendriyas, the 10 senses. The three queens of Dasharatha are none other than the Trigunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Lakshmana, which is the theme for the day. Lakshmana is Buddhi. Now, generally we understand Buddhi to be intellect, but we will see in some time what it really means in Bhagavan's own words. Lakshmana represents Buddhi. Sugriva is Viveka. Vali is despair. Hanuman is the embodiment of courage. And the bridge that the Vanaras built over the ocean, that ocean is the ocean of delusion and the bridge was built over it. And the three Rakshasa chiefs who were found on the other side, they are again representatives of the Trigunas. Ravana represents the Rajoguna, Vibhishana the Sattva Guna, and Kumbhakarna obviously the Tamoguna. And Mother Sita represents Brahma Jnana. Look at how beautifully Bhagavan has described every key personality in this grand epic of Ramayana, how it actually relates to our own life. We can reverse engineer these qualities and see how they represent us, how they work in us. With these few words, with the essence of Ramayana, as we soak it in through Rāmakatharasavayini, through the words of Sri Rama himself, and I must tell you this, Rāmakatharasavayini is the only autobiography by an avatar. There is no other autobiography by an avatar. Rāmāyana, the original, written by Adi Kavi Valmiki. Bhagavatam, the story of Lord Krishna, was written by Vedavyasa Krishna Dvaipa. Of course, his name was also Krishna. He is also an Amshavatar of Vishnu, but still it was written by Vedavyasa. But Ramakatharasavahini is the only first-hand account written by an avatar on himself. And therefore, we are all reveling in this joy of reading and listening to the words of Sri Rama himself, who has written his own autobiography in the form of Ramakatharasavahini. Let us all drench ourselves in his Nama, Sai Rama Nama. Sai Rama.
Lakshmana sevita lavanya Rama Dasharatha Nandana Rama Raghuvara Janani Janaki Rama Vaidehi Priyaranda Rama Vaidehi Priya Vaikunta Rama Vaidehi Priya Vaikunta Rama Vaidehi Priya Vaikunta Rama
What a glorious servant was Lakshmana of Sri Rama. Swami, in fact, told us in his summer course discourse in 1977, right from here, that Lakshmana was so dear to Rama that Rama would declare to Hanuman, Sugriva, and everybody around that if not for Lakshmana, I could not have completed this mission of mine. When Lakshmana was swooning and lost in consciousness, he became unconscious by the powerful arrows of Indrajit. Rama began to cry loudly and say, I may find another wife like Sita, but can I ever find a brother like Lakshmana? What will I answer Mother Sumitra now? What will I answer Mother Sumitra now? This is how Rama cried out loud when Lakshmana fell. Lakshmana was that dear to Sri Rama. Bhagavan said that Lakshmana represents Buddhi. This age, now I don't know what you will call yourself, Gen Z or Gen X or Gen Y. All generations are here now in this Mahasabha of Bhagavan. But they say that the Gen Z especially, the current generation of youngsters, are very intellectually driven. They need to have clarity about things, otherwise they would not do anything which is asked of them. But here we have to understand that what really is the meaning of that intellect, Buddhi, which was personified by Lakshmana himself. Here is a simple way to understand what Buddhi is. The three dimensions of life that each of us have are these three. One is called Sankalpa, which is will. The second is the Antahakarana, which includes the four facets of the mind. Manas, which means the random thoughts and desires that come to us. Chitta, which is the repository of memories. Now all of us know that there are so many past memories that keep coming to us, good or bad, whatever it may be. They are all stored in our chitta. So chitta is the repository of memories that throws up those thoughts and that lead to chintana, that is thinking process. You see? So one is manas, that is thoughts and desires, random thoughts. Chitta, which is memory. Then ahamkara. What is ahamkara? Not as in ego or pride. That is just a side effect of ahankara. What ahankara, according to the Vedanta, means is mind associating with the body to perform an action. That is called ahankara. Now, if the mind does not function through the body, body cannot do any activity. The body is like a machine, it's a yantra. It is jada. Jada means inert. By itself it cannot. Like a glove. Can you imagine a piece of glove? Will it move on its own? You have to put your hand inside that and move it. The way you move the fingers, the glove will also move, isn't it? In the same way, the body is jada, inert like the glove. It is when the mind associates with the body that the body becomes mobile. Imagine if the glove, unassociated with the hand, starts moving on its own. It will be eerie, isn't it? So that never happens. So here, the mind when associated with the body to perform an action is called ahamkara. Three aspects of mind. The fourth aspect of mind, which is the decision-making ability of the mind. Should I do this action? Should the mind associate with the body and perform this action or not? That decision-making thought is called buddhi. Right? The decision-making thought. But Bhagavan clarifies in his divine discourse on 26th May 1990, another beautiful summer course discourse, again given from this holy land by Sai Krishna himself, Sai Rama himself. And he says in that, to mistake the buddhi's ability to be a decision-making thought, to limit it to that, is a big error, he says. Buddhi is much vaster than this. It is deeply connected to the Atma Tattva, the conscience within each one of us. When we do something, there is always the conscience that tells us whether what we are doing is right or wrong. that conscience is the voice of God, the God who is resident in our the Atma Rama. So that voice of conscience itself, Bhagavan says, is buddhi. And that is Lakshmana, mind you. We are all still talking about Lakshmana here. How does it work? The sankalpa or will that we have, we imagine ourselves to have a will. Lakshmana did not imagine that. We imagine ourselves to have a will. We often ask this question. It's a great matter of debate. Is there free will? Isn't it a matter of debate? Is there free will or everything is just predestined? But you know what? Swami silenced this debate long ago. When a devotee asked Swami this question, Swami, is there free will? Swami said, categorically, there is no free will. There is no free will. You have only one choice. What is that? You have only one choice. There is no free will. You have only one choice. What is the choice? You can either identify with your body and your personality, your mental personality, or you identify yourself with Atma Rama. That is the only choice that you have. And what Lakshmana did was the latter. That is, he identified himself only with Atma Rama, Sai Rama. And you have heard this experience on the very first day of the Sapthāha, but it is worth recounting this experience from Rāmāyana in Panchavati. In Panchavati, when Sri Rama casually tells Lakshmana, Lakshmana, find a spot of your choice and build a parnakutir, a hut for all of us to stay. Lakshmana comes down onto his knees and starts crying and weeping as if somebody has shattered his life. And both Rama and Sita are wondering what has happened. And Lakshmana then, with tears in his eyes, says to Rama, "Oh Rama, why are you uttering these harsh, cruel words to me? Have I done something wrong?" Rama and Sita are wondering what is happening here. They say, Rama says, and Swami writes in Ramakatharasavahini, Lakshmana, what are you saying? Are you accusing me, Rama, of cruel words? Have you ever seen me utter a single cruel word to anybody in this world? Why are you saying this? What did I tell you? I just asked you to build a hut wherever you want. Lakshmana says, "Oh Rama, does it mean that there is an I left here? There is an individual will that is left here that will decide where to build this hut? Are you saying that? Have I not completely surrendered myself to you, O Rama?" He said. That will, which is our illusion of a free will, Lakshmana was very clear that there is only one divine will. Now you may say, the Gen Z will say, in practical life, but I do choose, I make choices. But the thing is this, will is only one, and that is divine. And that is like electricity. And therefore, your own true nature is also the same divinity, Atma Rama. So the will that you are expressing is also divine will only. But what happens is, when you are lost in your own chitta, that is your past memories, when you are lost in your desires and what you want to experience in this world, when you are lost in just thoughts and more thoughts, what happens is this will is polluted by our thoughts, our desires, and our own past memories. That's all happens. And it gives us an illusion of my will. Why? The thoughts and desire belongs to whom? It belongs to me. And therefore an illusion of my will comes. Will, which is only one, which is divine will, is like electricity. The same electricity powers these lights. The same electricity is powering this mic. The same electricity is powering the projector and the camera. Now, how it is expressed differently, doesn't matter. But the electricity still remains the same. There is no mic electricity, there is no bulb electricity, there is no projector electricity, isn't it? In the same way, the will is only divine, but how we express it. The other aspect to this is, when we say we have our own will, yes, we may be expressing the will, but it is never free will. Why it is not free? It is free because it is constantly conditioned by our life experience. Based on what experiences we had with somebody in life, based on how our upbringing has been, Based on the kind of company that we keep, Swami would always warn the students and say, a piece of newspaper wrapped in jasmine will smell of jasmine flowers. But the same newspaper wrapped in fish will smell like fish. You see, tell me your company, I shall tell you what you are. So the mind, depending on the company that it keeps, will constantly be colored in the color of that company, whatever the color may be. You see? And therefore, the decisions that we take in life are always conditioned by this coloring of our life experiences. And therefore, though the will is being expressed by us, it is never free, it is always conditioned. That is the meaning of there is no free will. But what happens when you associate yourself with Atma Rama, with Bhagavan himself? Bhagavan, Atma Rama, is the only presence, the only being, the pure Satchitananda existence that is untarnished, Nishkalo, Niranjano. These are the words that are used to describe Bhagavan in Upanishads, isn't it? Nishkalo, Niranjano, Nirvikalpo, Nirakhyata, Shuddha Deva Eko, Narayanaha. What do these mean? He is blemishless. He cannot be tarnished. What is that he here? He refers to the Tattvam. That is the divine presence that Bhagavan is, which pervades all of creation. When we identify ourselves with that, there is no I left, like Lakshmana. He had no I left. And when there is no I, it is only Bhagavan who exists. Now you tell me that will, that pure form of energy, electricity, isn't it free will? Because it can never be conditioned or tarnished. That is the real answer to the debate between free will, whether it is there or not. But Lakshmana declared that there is free will. There is only one way, which is to surrender yourself to God's will. And that is what he did. His every action that you see, his antakarana was empty. He had no desires of his own. And therefore his buddhi became Sukshma Buddhi, not ordinary Sukshma Buddhi. Swami would say Ati Sukshma Buddhi. Very, very acute, subtle intellect. That is what he was. Now, what is this Lakshmana? What does he represent? Swami takes a leaf out of what he himself revealed to the sages as the Veda Purusha in Taittiriya Upanishad, Anandavali. Swami says, this Buddhi can be described like a bird. And he says, Tasya Shraddhaiva Shiraha. The head of this bird here is a symbol of Buddhi here. So, Tasya Shraddhaiva Shiraha. Shraddha, I'm not going to give a translation to this word. It is almost not translatable here. But Bhagavan explains. Tasya Shraddhaiva Shiraha. The head of the bird is Shraddha, faith. Now you see, intellect that Gen Z believes is the way to go ahead. The head of the bird of intellect is faith, Shraddha. Tasya Shraddhaiva Shiraha. Ritam Dakshina Pakshaha. Ritam, or which Bhagavan describes as unity of thought, word and deed. Unity of thought, word and deed. Ritam is the right wing of this bird, of Buddhi. Satyam Uttara Pakshaha. Truth, that is the spoken truth, is what? The left wing of this bird called Buddhi. Then, here is a wonder of wonders. We are all so blessed actually to see this part of what is being shown from the Taittiriya Upanishad. In the Upanishad it says, Yoga Atma Mahat Pucham Pratishtat, which means the body of this bird is yoga, but the tail of this bird is Mahat. Mahat Tattva. What it is, we will see in some time. But what Bhagavan says is no. Who has this authority? To say no. And he makes a swap there. He says, Mahat Tattvam is the body, is the Atma. And yoga is Prucha, which is the tail of this bird. And he explains why it is so. Who can make this change? This happened once in Kodaikanal. We were all seated around Bhagavan. And Bhagavan was narrating about his journeys to Badrinath. And how he had taken an entourage of devotees all the way to the sacred shrine. And Swami said, Pratyakshamu to Parokshamu. You're going to go with the Lord Narayana to see his unmanifest form there in the form of a Vigraha, idol. So I will take you and go, he said, and Swami narrated all the wonderful experiences that devotees had all along. After narrating all those experiences, in Sai Shruti Kodaikanal, Swami looked at one of the senior devotees, Shri G.K. Raman Garu, beautiful devotee of Swami. He breathed his last on Onam day in Sai Kulwant Hall, looking at the darshan of the Lord. And Bhagavan says, the way a devotee leaves the body shows how they have lived their life. And imagine the glory of this devotee. In Sai Kulwant Hall, looking at Bhagavan come for darshan, he breathes his last on Onam day. And that devotee Swami addressed in 2007 and said, Inna G.K. Raman, Swami was talking about some rishis whom Swami had blessed then. One of the great sages Swami had blessed was Purushottamananda in Vashishta Gufa. It is very significant because Purushottamananda ji, a direct disciple of Brahmananda, the lineage of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, did penance in this cave for many, many decades. And this is the cave of Brahma Rishi Vashishta himself, which is around 23 kilometers away from Rishikesh. So Swami had gone all the way there, stopped his car suddenly. Nobody knew why Swami was stopping. Swami stopped the car, got down. Swami's physical age was 32. He looked like a 16-year-old boy. No need to say. He got down from his car and ran down the slopes of Rishikesh in the hilly regions. He ran down those steep slopes. Even today, if you go, you will see it's very steep from the road. Swami just ran down as if every day he's walking down that road. There was no pathway there, but he went like that. And he went straight to the cave and gave darshan to this great sage. The great sage looked at Swami and said, he experienced the divine vibrations from Bhagavan. And the great sage said, Aha, avarda ungala amchirkar, in Tamil, which means he only, that is, Bhagavan only has sent you here, were the words of the sage. He was still a little bit deluded at that point. Swami turned towards Raja Reddy Garu and Kasturi Garu, who were with Swami, and said in Tamil, Avar anupala, avare vandirkar. He has not, Bhagavan has not sent this being. He himself has come here, he said. Swami narrated all these experiences. Swami reminded Purushottamananda that many, many decades ago, in the early 1900s, before Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba in physical form took avatar, before that, he reminded Purushottamananda and said, in the early 1900s, did you not experience this one day, that there were heavy rains and you couldn't find a single dry piece of wood to light fire, and all stones, they would use stones to create friction and fire, and you didn't find a single dry stone as well. Whatever hay you had collected inside the gufa, Vashishta Gufa, you could not light fire, and you were worried because you could hear the tiger in the forest, and therefore you were wondering what will happen to your life, and you prayed out to your Lord, Ananta Padmanabha Swami. Isn't it, he said? He said, yes, Swami, I did pray to my Lord. He said, then what happened? Didn't you find a piece of matchbox, right outside your cave with just 2 matchsticks? Swami is describing this. This event happened before Swami took avatar. He's telling, didn't you find a matchbox with just 2 matchsticks that were completely dry, and you made use of that to light fire that not only kept you warm, but also kept the animals from entering your cave? Do you remember that? The sage remembered, Purushottamananda ji remembered and said, yes, Swami, I remember that. And then Swami said, who do you think kept the matchbox there? It was me. Swami was not even physically born then. Can you imagine? He is that avatar who is beyond birth and death, who is beyond time. And he listens to the prayer of Meera 5,000 years after he has left the body as Krishna. That is the Bhagavan that we are all so fortunate to behold in our heart and eyes. Bhagavan narrated all these wonderful stories, and then he looked at G.K. Raman sir and said, Enna G.K. Raman, Purushottamananda Patacha, have you seen Purushottamananda? He said, no, Swami. Then Swami said, Shivananda Teriyuma, have you seen Swami Shivananda? Because Swami stayed with Swami Shivananda there. And he said, Illa Swami, Pakkala Swami. No, Swami, I have not seen Swami Shivananda. Before Swami could add a list of some more great sages and saints to this, he immediately confessed to Swami, Swami, enakku yarum theriyadu Swami, ungala dhaan theriyum. He said, I don't know anyone else, I know only you Swami, he declared. And the moment he said that, Swami became intense in his demeanor. Till now, very jovially Swami was speaking. Bhagavan became suddenly very intense. And he said, And he said in Telugu, Idi okkati teluskunte chalu. If you know this one, it is enough. And then he declared in Sanskrit what he revealed to the sages. He said, Ekoham bahusyam. I am that one who willed and became all of this creation, declared Bhagavan that day. And it is that way the Purusha, who became this creation itself, he made that change there. That is why I'm trying to highlight this, that the way the Purusha himself said that Mahat Tattva is the body of the bird of Buddhi and Yoga is the tail. Now what does this mean? First, let us look at the head of this bird. Head is the most important. If a bird is headless, it's of no use. The Buddhi bird also has a head, that is Shraddha. But Bhagavan says Shraddha means Asakti and Sthiratvamu. Asakti means deep love. Intense yearning and love is Asakti. Intense attachment is Asakti. And Sthiratvamu means what? Not once in a while. That intense yearning, intense love for God, intense penance for God must be constant, unending, unbroken. That is Asakti plus Sthiratvamu, both put together is Shraddha. And therefore Swami says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. The meaning of Shraddha was taught to me very beautifully by Bhagavan once. I was suffering from a migraine headache, and I'll keep this experience very crisp. What happened was, I had asked Swami, this one-sided headache is troubling, what should I do? Swami said, Cheptanu, which means I will tell you. So I left it at that. Many years later, again in 2007 in Chennai, when we were around Swami suddenly said, do you know, 1 cup of wine is better than 1 cup of coffee? So Swami clarified and said, alcohol muttane muttaddu. You should not touch alcohol at all. Now I am telling you, coffee is worse than that. So all of us were lovers of coffee. In fact, Swami had kept a coffee machine in Sundaram, Swami's abode in Chennai, specially for us. He himself said that, Nene pettichanu, he said, I only kept there because I know all of you love coffee. Then he said this, 1 cup of wine is better than 1 cup of coffee. Wine aithe purugulaine champutundi. At least the worms and other things will, it is very bad, but something it does. Coffee adi kuda cheyadu. Coffee doesn't do even that, he said. So, coffee is very bad for health, he said. So I was wondering what to do. If you have headache, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Coffee. And therefore I would love coffee. And I was thinking, okay, now Swami has said this, something I must do. I started negotiating with what Swami said. I said, okay, I will be a social drinker of coffee. Means not every day. Whenever my classmates or somebody calls me for coffee, I will go and have 1 cup of coffee. You know what? Moment I took that sankalpa, every day somebody was invited. Till then it never happened. Every day somebody was inviting and I was going. Now coffee is happening every day. I said, this is not working. Then, out of my ignorance, I thought I will shift to cappuccino. Because I thought cappuccino is 50% chocolate and very little coffee. It is not true, in case you also think like that. It is coffee only. So I shifted to cappuccino and I was enjoying that. Until one day, it so happened that there was a chemistry conference in our university, Swami's university, and for the tea break, coffee break, a table full of cups of freshly brewed brew coffee was there. And I was doing some duty outside, and I finished my duty and I came towards the conference hall to this wafting fragrance of coffee, and I said, aha, coffee, and I picked up the cup of coffee. Now I'll hold it here as an image for you all and rewind a little bit. What happened a few months before that was I attended my cousin's wedding here in Bengaluru, and another great devotee of Swami I had an opportunity to meet, a very old time devotee. And the devotee also happens to be a healer. So my parents, looking at my plight, we had tried neurologists, we had tried general doctors, everybody, nobody had a solution for migraine at that time. So what happened is my parents submitted to this healer and said, sir, can you please look at my son? Nothing seems to be healing him. There is a problem. We don't know why he is having this headache. Brain is also here, buddhi also is supposed to be here. That was the headache. So then what he did was he looked at me as if he was scanning me and he said, do you know why you have migraine? I said, no, sir. He said, because you don't have faith in Swami. So immediately I told him, sir, I know that Swami is God. So can you please help me understand what actually you mean by I don't have faith in Swami? I would love to understand. I want to understand. Seeing this reply, he said, very good reply. You did not take it an offense when somebody said that you don't have faith in Swami and say, oh, I am Swami's student, that this. You accepted and said, no, you know Swami is God, but what is the meaning? You want to know the meaning. He said, now you will definitely know the meaning, he said. But I will not tell you, you inquire within, he said. So I was inquiring within, I didn't get any answers, it went on. Until that moment, again, coffee in my hand. Okay? Migraine, treated by all doctors, but not cured. And coffee in my hand that moment. That day, when I held that coffee in my hand, there was an inner voice that told me, can you put down this cup of coffee, not because it is bad for your health, but because Swami said so. Not because it is bad for your health, but because Swami said so. You will not believe, my dear brothers and sisters, I just put down the cup of coffee that day, no medical treatment after that. I never touched a cup of coffee since that day. Migraine never touched me from that day. That day, through this experience, Swami taught me that Tasya Shraddhaiva Shiraha. The meaning of the word Shraddha, faith, means implicit obedience to Bhagavan's words. That's what it means. Implicit, don't negotiate. Don't try to barter with Bhagavan's words. Implicit obedience, and that is what Lakshmana was. You see this image there, you all know what the story is. Shurpankhā tried to attack Mother Sita, completely vexed by these two brothers, Rama and Lakshmana. They were playing with her, and she thought, Sita is the reason why Rama is not marrying me, so I will go and attack. And Swami describes this implicit obedience. And what Rama did, he first points to the sky like this. Rama points to the sky like this. When he points to the sky like this, Lakshmana understands that the Sanskrit word for sky is naka, and another meaning of naka is nose. And then Rama does this, which means he does this, which means Veda, Shruti. Shruti means through listening it is learned, Shravana, and that means it refers to the ears. Rama just did this and this. That's all he did. He didn't say what instructions. Imagine this is happening at a very acute moment. Shurpankhā is already attacking Mother Sita. There is no time here. It's not like Rama is showing, Lakshmana is trying to understand, he's deciphering and doing something. No, there is no time here. Because already Shurpankhā is about to attack. She's already started her attack on Mother Sita, and Rama quickly does this. Lakshmana understands what Rama is saying. He takes his arrow and cuts off her nose and ears. Can you imagine the swiftness with this is happening? This is because of two reasons. One is implicit obedience of Lakshmana. In fact, Swami describes two other incidents where Lakshmana did not like to do it, but he implicitly obeyed Rama. One was when Mother Sita was to be put to Agni Pariksha. Lakshmana did not like that. He did not understand why Rama is telling to do this, but because Rama said, he didn't ask any question. His heart weighed like the Himalayas itself. That heavy his heart was, but he did it. The other occasion again was with Mother Sita, when Rama said that Mother Sita has to be dropped in the forest. And that again Lakshmana did not like. He did not agree to it. His mind and heart did not agree, but what he did was, he executed the command of Sri Rama. Implicit obedience. But Lakshmana could understand the command of Rama when he showed the sky and the Shruti. That is because of what? Asakti and Sthiratvamu. Means he had one pointed attention on Rama. The slightest indication of Rama, even before Rama gestures, Lakshmana would know what Rama wants. That was his one pointed attention when he was in service to Rama. And that is why he was able to understand that. That kind of asakti and sthiratvamu we must cultivate. That is Shraddha, implicit obedience to Swami, and that kind of one-pointed attention to him is what we need to cultivate. That is when our intellect will function properly. The second is Ritam and Satyam. Swami said are the right wing and the left wing. Bhagavan says that there needs to be a fine balance between the two. Ritam means unity of thought, word and deed. Now if you look at this whole description of the bird form of buddhi, if you take this and if the head of the bird is directed towards the world, you will be successful in the world. Imagine the head which is one-pointed and completely focused and involved in whatever you want to work in or achieve. That kind of involvement with truth and unity of thought, word and deed as your strength, as your wings, and you have the Mahat Tattva, what it is we will come. In this case, when you apply it to the world, here the Mahat means Vishala Bhavam, inclusiveness, to work for everybody's welfare. When you apply the Buddhi outward, Mahat means to work for everybody's welfare, to include everybody as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and all your actions and your goals and your desires are always keeping in mind everybody. Imagine that. So when you are focused, intensely focused, you have truth, you speak the truth, you only speak what you think and you act accordingly. That kind of integrity is there in you, and you are intensely focused and you are thinking about everybody's welfare all the time. And yoga, yoga means here chitta vritti nirodha, Bhagavan explains, means to have complete control over the mind is called yoga here, not asanas. And in fact, in a discourse, Swami says, yoga ante enti kriya yogama. What is yoga? Is it kriya yoga? Raja yogama? Is it raja yoga? Hatha yogama? He asks. Is it hatha yoga? Is it kadu kadu? No, none of these. Here yoga means chitta vritti nirodha, to be able to have complete control over the senses, indriya nigraha. And Lakshmana was the greatest example. When Sugriva presents the jewels that were found by his other monkey friends to Lord Sri Rama and asks, this fell from the sky, literally, and the monkeys around had picked up. Can you please see if this is related to Mother Sita? And Rama looks at it and he is not able to identify anything. In fact, when Swami once shared this, he said, see, Ramudki atta sottu paina em aasa ledu. Rama did not have an eye on the mother-in-law's property, he said, because Rama did not identify the jewels at all. Ee kalamlo atla leru. He said, this age people are not like that. But see Rama, he did not have an eye on his mother-in-law's property at all. He could not identify the jewels. So he told Lakshmana, Lakshmana, see, can you identify something here? Can you see, find something here which belongs to Sita? Lakshmana goes through all the pieces of jewelry that were there, ornaments that were there, and suddenly something strikes him. He sees and says, Swami, Rama, this is indeed Mother Sita's. What was that? The kankana, the whatever jewelry or ornament she wore on her foot, that is the anklet that she would wear and the toe ring that she would wear. These are the only two things that Lakshmana could identify. He said, this belongs to Mother Sita. And Rama says, but how do you know Lakshmana? He says, Sita, my brother's wife, Sita is my mother, he says. I have never seen her face. And Swami affirms this in Ramakatha Rasavayini. Lakshmana never knew how Sita looked like properly. I have never paid attention to her face. She is my mother. Only thing I do diligently is every day when I wake up, I go and fall at her feet. And therefore what she wore in her feet, I know them very well, because every day I see them. That toe ring, that anklet that she wears, I know that for sure, and this is Mother Sita's, he declares. And Swami feels proud every time he talks about this experience, this story from Rāmāyana. What a great control over senses that Lakshmana had. Another episode which is very rarely known, Swami narrated in a discourse in 1977, Summer Showers. He says that once after Pattabhishekam, Rama was coronated, everything, all the 4 brothers were in the kingdom. One day, Lakshmana, by mistake, unconsciously, he entered Rama's room thinking Rama is there. And Mother Sita was lying down in the room on her bed. She was taking rest. Lakshmana just glanced and immediately he ran out of that room. He went straight to Vasishtha He went straight to Vasishtha and said, "Pardon me, my Guru. Please tell me how I can repent this sin that I have committed." What did he do? Nothing. He walked into the room, he just saw Mother Sita, but he felt that was a sin. And he said, "I repent, I have to repent for this sin that I have committed. Please show me a way." And Swami narrates this and says, where can we find a Lakshmana today? Where can we find a Lakshmana today? That is Indriya Nigrahamu, the complete control over the senses. That is Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is the tail. In an aeroplane, what happens? The tail has a very important role. Before coming to this, please have a look at this. We'll take an alternate example of the helicopter. In the plane and in helicopter, the tail has a similar role. That is balance, right? A plane's balance is maintained by the tail. Direction is also given by the rudder in the plane, which is the tail. In a helicopter, we all love to see the helicopter and the huge fan that rotates. We all think that is the reason why the helicopter flies, right? No doubt. But do you know that the only thing that saves the helicopter from crash landing is that small fan that you see behind? At the end, the tail. That is what gives balance to the helicopter. This happened during sports meet. Swami was with students and this event was aero sports. One of the defense personnel who had dedicated their services to Bhagavan had come to train students for aero sports. So he got this beautiful chance. So he wanted to explain Swami how actually it functions, the paraglider functions. So he was talking about the fan that is there behind the paraglider. He said, "Swami, if that fan that is there behind the paraglider, just like the helicopter's small fan behind, if it goes away, if it fails or if it breaks, the entire helicopter or the paraglider will swing, that is turn in circles and collapse, crash land." That is what happens. That is the importance of the fag end, the tail of the helicopter, he said. Swami said, "Avunu, adi pote manasu kuda tirigi potundi," he said. He said, if the tail, that is the yogas chitta vritti nirodha, if that fails, if you don't have control over your senses, the mind also will turn, circles and circles, and it will fail. It will crash land. And it is the same way Swami described so beautifully. Now coming to this balance, when we saw how buddhi, all the elements of buddhi, if you apply it in the world, you will be successful, right? In the same way, when you take this buddhi and turn it inward, that is when it gains its true strength. And when that happens, in life both should be there, Bhagavan says. That is, there is outward work also, but there must be inward work also simultaneously happening. And balance should be there. How? Like a aircraft. Swami gives this example in a discourse and says, if you see the aeroplane, there are 2 wings and both have got flaps on. So you will see that in certain gestures of the plane, one flap will be up and another will be down. And certain other gestures, it will reverse roles. He said, in the same way, the balance must be maintained between rhythm, that is unity of thought, word, and deed, which is inner sadhana, and the spoken word satyam, which is the outer sadhana. Both must have balance. When you are in the world, don't talk about rhythm. Let it be an inner sadhana. Speak the truth. When you are doing your inner sadhana, don't articulate your inner sadhana to others. I had this experience out of this sadhana and all that. Revel in the inner truth, which is rhythm. That balance and the right place, right action is needed. And that is what brings balance in life. In fact, Swami went on to say, Lakshmana, if he would not have been in Rama's company, similarly Hanuman, Swami mentioned this, if he would have not been in Rama's company, Hanuman would have been a monkey, Lakshmana would have been an ordinary human being. This is what Swami describes. What does it mean? Hanuman can never be like that, neither can Lakshmana. That's a different thing. This is for us to learn. What Swami is saying? Lakshmana represents buddhi, our intellect. Hanuman, because the monkey form, monkey mind. Both buddhi and mind, if it is only living in this world all the time, looking at what I have to do here, how to fulfill my desires, how to be get this, that, everything in this world, if you are only involved in this, then the buddhi will be a ordinary buddhi, mind will be a monkey mind. Swami doesn't stop there. Monkey mind, drunken monkey mind, stung by a scorpion. You see? If it is only directed this way. So what is needed? Just like how Lakshmana, the buddhi, was directed inward, and Hanuman, the manas, was also directed inward, our inward attention is important. In fact, they both never left Rama. If you see this beautiful photograph which is there of Sri Rama, always Lakshmana and Hanuman are by his side. They never leave his presence. This is symbolic to say that our intellect, buddhi, and the mind must constantly be in contemplation of Rama. It must be turned inward. This is very essential to have balance in life. Finally, what is this Mahat Tattvam? We have discussed everything else. Swami says Mahat Tattvam is very simple. When you experience the meaning of the Upanishadic declaration, Tattvam Asi. Tat means Atma Rama. Tvam means who we think we are. When these two principles merge and become one, in experience, not in imagination, in direct experience, when it becomes one, that is Tattvamasi, we will know ourselves not to be the limited body, the limited personality, but the cosmic consciousness. In fact, in Brahma Sutra, second sutra, it is said, Janmadyasya Yataha, which means Brahman or divinity means what? That in which creation, sustenance, Janmadi, birth, life and death. The cycle is constantly happening, within which. Now, we may know that birth, sustenance and death happens with us, in our family, in our society, maybe in our city, maximum our country. If we travel maybe few cities across the world, we may have seen that there is birth, sustenance and death. But you know what? Earth itself is just a speck in the multiverse of creation. Can you imagine that? All of that Shrishti Sthiti Laya, creation, sustenance and destruction happening in all the vastness of the multiverses, which Swami declared, Ekoham Bahusyam, that multiverse of creation, all the Shrishti Sthiti Laya is happening, that is inside Brahman. Imagine the vastness of what we are. And Swami simply says, you are God, Aham Brahmasmi. Tell yourself, Aham Brahmasmi, you are God. You are that Brahman, he says. So, Mahat Tattva means, when you experience this, you know it. And Swami narrated a very short story. He said, Chinnakatha, once a king called all the scholars in his kingdom and said, is there anybody here who can find liberation for themselves, who can realize themselves, who can be mukti, Jivan Mukta Purusha? He asked this question to his scholars, and all of the scholars were silent. An ordinary man who was sitting, he is not a scholar, an ordinary man who was seated there, he got up and said in Telugu, and Swami puts it so beautifully, he says, Nenu pote ravuchunu, which literally means, if I die, I may get liberated. Literal meaning. So all the scholars looking at him were shocked, and they protested to the king, saying that, what are you saying? Who is this man? He is not even a scholar. He has not read the Vedas. He has not read the Upanishads or Shastras. And he declares that when he dies, he will be liberated. With what authority is he saying, O king? They asked the king. So the king heard all the scholars, and then he asked this man, why did you say this? Nenu pote ravachunu. If I die, I may get liberation, is what he is saying there. Why did you say, with what authority are you saying this? And then that man said, I did not mean it that way. What I meant is, Nenu means I. Nenu means I. The idea that I am this body, this limited personality, this limited identity of body and personality, idi pote. If I drop this I, ravachunu, I will be liberated. That is what I mentioned, O king, he says. And the king is so thrilled. And Swami narrates this and says, this Mahat Tattvamu is achieved by that. And what is it that makes the body consciousness more and more strong? The two fundamental things that increases body consciousness more and more is excessive love for food. Students, excessive love for food, excessive love for sleep. These are the two things that anchors us in body consciousness and limited feeling, right? Nenu pote ravachunu will not happen then. Therefore, what Lakshmana did for 14 years, Swami says, not one day, not 1 month, not 1 year. For 14 years he gave up food and sleep in service of Rama. Nenu pote ravachanu. That's why he is buddhi, which is the Mahat Tattva, you see. So, many of these great lessons are embodied by Lakshmana. We will quickly skip to the last section. We have already looked at all of these wonderful aspects. We'll just go to the main point. What is surrender? Practically, what is surrender? Prapathi means surrender, complete surrender. In fact, the other day, Sir was mentioning about the Markata Keshora Nyaya and Marjala Keshora Nyaya, the cat way and the monkey way. I hope you remember. So, in these both forms of devotion, one is the monkey way is called Bhakti and the cat way is called Prapathi, complete surrender. Here the cat, when you see, it may look like it is helpless. It doesn't know what to do. It is just shouting meow, meow, waiting for the mother to come and pick. But Swami in Prema Vahini says, Prapathi is superior to Bhakti. Prapathi is superior to Bhakti. Why? Because it needs great courage to give up everything. And that is what Lakshmana did. He completely gave up everything. To do Ramakarya, he left his home, he left his wife, he left his riches. Nobody asked him to go to the forest. He was not asked to go to the forest. He was not asked to do anything. But he followed Rama. In fact, his penance in the forest was more rigorous than Rama's own penance, who was given that punishment for, of course, no fault of his. But Lakshmana's penance was greater. Please understand that. Right? That is Prapathi. Complete total surrender to Sri Rama. So how do we attain? What should be my first step in this? So Swami explained this in Chennai in 2007 when Bhagavan went to Atirudra. He had taken a few of us, and one day it was a beautiful experience. Swami was sitting on his dining table, on the chair, against the dining table, and he called the 5 speakers that he had taken, and all of us sat around Swami. And Swami said, Edaina prashna unte adagandi. If you have any question, ask. So one of our brothers, so we are so grateful to him even today, he asked this question, Swami, Sharanagati ante emi Swami? What is surrender, Swami? Swami told in Tamil, Sharanagati la kudukarthukku onnum illa. There is nothing that you can give God in surrender. How? Everything belongs to Him. What will you give Him? There is nothing that you can give Him in surrender. Then he went on to say, நல்லது நடந்தாலோ கெட்டது நடந்தாலோ எல்லாம் அவர்தான் கொடுக்கிறார்னு திருட நம்பிக்கை வச்சுக்கோ, அதுதான் சரணாகதி. Which means whether good happens to you in life or what you think is bad is happening to you in life, have firm faith and conviction that it is He, God is giving it for your own. God is the one who is giving you this. Have firm faith and conviction that God is gifting you this. That faith and conviction, that kind of surrender is Sharanagati. That is where we need to start, to reach where Lakshmana reached. So, with this, this is from Prema Vahini, where Swami extols this very quality of Lakshmana. And finally, whom should we surrender to? Okay, we should surrender, but whom to surrender? Today, it is very easy to do Guru shopping. Everybody knows Manasa Bhajare, Guru Charanam. But which Guru? Right? So Swami solves this problem once for all. And he says there was one wanderer, a being, a boy, a prince actually, who came out of his kingdom and lost his way. He forgot where he came from. He forgot his identity also. And he's roaming around in thick jungle, not knowing where to go. Suddenly he finds a very beautiful place, very silent and calm place. So he goes there and he sees 3 very elderly people like our teachers. And you know what? Those 3 people give him directions. They say, you want to go back home? He said, yes, I have lost my way. I want to go home. They say, go to the bank of this vast river which seems endless. The other bank you cannot see. Go to that river, and on the bank of that river, you will find people who can guide you. But go that way, they guide him. And he goes to the river. And on the bank of the river, he sees 2 people first. First, he meets a blind person. This is symbolic. Swami writes the story in Sathya Sai Vahini. This is purely symbolic. No offense meant to anybody who have any challenges. but this is very symbolic in nature. So first, the traveler goes and sees a blind man. So he tells him, I want to go back home. Can you show me the way? The elders in the village tell, it is across this endless river. You see, there is no other side to this river. How do I get there? It is very, very far. So the blind man says, no problem. You follow me, I will tell you. You jump into the river and keep walking 15 feet north direction. Then you turn northeast, which is Ishanu direction. And in that Ishan direction, you go 30 meters this way. Then the water depth is like this. He gives graphic description of the route map along with the depth of the water and everything. Sorry, this is the lame man first. Okay, this is the lame person that he spoke to first. The lame man is telling him about the depth of the river and everything and how to go. And so this boy who is already beaten up by life, he has roamed around with no success of finding his home. So he says, there is something wrong here. You don't seem to have legs. How did you actually traverse? Did you even traverse this path? He asks him. And then that lame man says, why you want that? You just sit next to me. I will tell you whatever I am telling. You also tell the same thing. Hundreds of people will come and they will shower money on you. You take that money and you enjoy life. That's all. Why you want all the riches here? So he says, no, this is not what I asked for. And he moves ahead. The next person he sees is a blind man. Again, symbolic here. And he asks the same question. The blind man gives him again a graphic description of how to go up to one point. Then he says, you go to that point and you will see a blue light in the north direction. And you follow that blue light so intensely and keep walking without deterring your path, you will reach the other side, you will reach home. So this man thought he has legs, so maybe he knows the depth of the river at various pace. But how did he see blue light? So he says to him, have you seen the blue light yourself, sir? Because they would have read in the Vedas, Neelato yada madhyastha vidyulleke vabhasvara. So blue light. So he says, have you seen the blue light, sir? And he says, no, I have not seen the blue light, but I know it is like that. So he says, no, sir, I don't want this. I have come here for only one reason. I want to go back home. He says, I want to go back home. I don't want anything else here. So then he keeps walking, tired. After a long, tiring journey, he sees a man who is fully fit. Swami describes him as a fully fit man with all his organs intact. He has eyesight, he can walk, he looks fully fit. And he goes and prays to him, sir, do you know the way to my house? Can you help me? Then this fully fit person says, not only can I show you the path, let me declare to you, I am from there. I am the king of that place. I have come here only with one reason, to take you back home. You are my son, my dear, he says. You are my child, and you are the prince, and I am the emperor. I have come from that very kingdom where you belong to. I come here again and again so that I can take people like you back home. And that is the only task for which I have come. And what you need to do is only one thing. It is hold my hand. Hold my hand firmly, and I will take a leap. Leap along with me. Whatever difficulties come after that, wade through them, and then I will see you across. This man has faith in this being. For he has not come to collect money. He has not come to show paths that he does not understand. But he is directly from that very kingdom. He is the emperor of that kingdom, and he has come here to take the prince back. And he says, I am your father, I have come to take you. And he takes him across this ocean of samsara. And the prince realizes that he is also the emperor only. He is not different from that. Swami narrates this story and says, that emperor who comes here in the form of a fully fit person, that is Bhagavan himself. It is only the avatar who is the Satguru of Satgurus. Others are Bada Gurus and Bodha Gurus, he says. Bada Gurus means who inflict trouble on you by collecting money and making your life miserable. And Bodha Gurus are those who are very well versed in Shastras. You can attend satsang with them, but they cannot show you truth because they themselves have not experienced the truth. So Swami says, be careful about Bada Gurus and Bodha Gurus, but go only for the Parabrahma, Sadguru, Bhagavan, who is none other than the avatar himself. He came as Sri Rama, he came as Sri Krishna, and Bhagavan, Shirdi, and Sathya Sai. So if there is one place where our mind and buddhi is to be surrendered. Manasa bhajare Shri Sathya Sai Rama Charanam. With these few words, we will put a comma to the Rāmāyana Sapthāha. There can never be a full stop to satsang. We'll put a comma here and continue with this glorious story of Rama and the wonderful Ramakatha Rasa. Let it fill and suffuse our hearts. We will conclude with the bhajan on Sadguru and the glory of Sadguru, who is none other than Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai. Sai Ram.
Shri Ramachandra Jaya Jaya Rama. Rama Shri Ramachandra Jaya Jaya Rama. Rama Shri Ramachandra Jaya Jaya Rama. Karunabhirama Kamaniya Rama. Karunabhirama Kamaniya Rama. Karunabhirama Kamaniya Rama. Karunabhirama Kamaniya Rama. Rama Shri Ramachandra Jaya Jaya Rama. Rama Shri Ramachandra Jaya Jaya Rama. Kodanda Rama Kalyana Rama. Kodanda Rama Kalyana Rama. Kodanda Rama Kalyana Rama. Kodanda Rama Kalyana Rama. Sharanagata Paripalana Shri Charana 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 Rama. Rama Rama Sai Rama. Rama Rama Sai Rama. Rama Shri Rama Sai Rama. Rama Shri Rama Sai Rama. Samara Vijaya Rama Saketa 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 Rama. Rama Shri Ramachandra Jaya Jaya Rama. Sadguru Brahma Sanatana He. Sadguru Brahma Sanatana He. Sadguru Brahma Sanatana He. Sadguru Brahma Sanatana He. Parama Daya Ghana Pavana He. Parama Daya Ghana Pavana
Sai Ram. As we come to the end of this evening, the last 1.5 hours have been an inner journey, a journey where we were, understanding our chit and manas and the will. And at the same time, as we came towards the end of the talk, we realized the kind of surrender that Lakshmana had for Sri Rama. Now, as we came towards the end, I started wondering what would possibly the takeaway for all of us, you know. Probably the best one I could think of right now is, we trying to have that, we even attempting to have the kind of surrender that Lakshmana had towards our own Swami. I'm sure many of us have gone through an inner journey. I wouldn't speak much to summarize the whole talk because I know I cannot do the justice. And therefore, I would leave each of you with your own thoughts and with your own experiences. I thank the AVC team. I thank everyone, the Ashram inmates, to coordinate the whole event. I thank Sri Sathya organization in Karnataka. And tomorrow's schedule would be, we would have Omkaram, Suprabhatam and Nagar Sankirtan at morning 5 to 6 a.m. And in the evening at 5 p.m. we would be starting the Veda chanting here in the Sai Ramesh Hall. At 5:05 the bhajans would begin, and 5:20 tomorrow's talk would begin. Tomorrow's topic would be the lesser known characters of Rāmāyana and their importance. So, Sai Ram, have a wonderful evening. We shall now have the Arati, have Prasadam, and take leave. Sai Ram.
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्व प्राणपते स्वामी सर्व प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदेव Day